Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In a country already grappling with economic uncertainty, the US, Treasury has issued a warning that is both alarming and deeply personal for millions of Americans. Income garnishment is on the rise, and it's about to hit hard. This isn't just a vague prediction, it's a calculated, data-driven alert from one of the most powerful financial institutions in the world. The message is clear: millions of people may soon find their wages, tax refunds, or even Social Security benefits docked before they ever reach their bank accounts. So, what's driving this sudden surge in garnishments? How does it work? Who's at risk? And most importantly, what can you do to protect yourself or a loved one from financial ruin? In today's video, we're diving deep into the Treasury's urgent income garnishment warning, revealing the real-life consequences for Americans, and giving you practical steps to take before it's too late. To understand why this Treasury warning is making headlines, we need to look at the wider economic landscape. For the last 5 years, Americans have weathered an onslaught of financial hardships. First came the pandemic, which decimated jobs and savings. Then came record-breaking inflation, pushing up prices on groceries, rent, fuel, and essential services. Add to that the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes, and what we're left with is a nation teetering on the edge of a financial cliff. This economic squeeze has forced millions to rely on credit cards, delay loan payments, or skip tax filings altogether. For some, those choices were the only way to survive. But now, the government is looking to collect. With billions in unpaid debt stacking up, the US Treasury is pulling every legal lever it has, including one of the most direct and painful methods of debt collection: garnishing your income. Income garnishment is a legal mechanism that allows a portion of a person's paycheck, tax return, or government benefits to be seized directly to repay debts. And when we say seized, we mean you may never even see that money hit your bank account. The money is withheld at the source, whether that's your employer, the IRS, or the Social Security Administration, and redirected to the entity you owe. Unlike traditional debt collection methods, income garnishment doesn't rely on harassing phone calls or collection letters. Once a court order, or in the case of federal debt, an administrative ruling, is in place, the process begins automatically. It's swift. It's strict. And for those already living paycheck to paycheck, it can be devastating. What's particularly frightening is how quiet this process can be. In many cases, people find out about the garnishment the moment their paycheck is short. There's no grace period. There's no negotiation. And with the Treasury's recent warning, this silent financial predator is about to become much more common. The Treasury's warning comes at a time when multiple federal debt collection systems are firing back up after years of dormancy. For example, during the pandemic, federal student loan payments were paused. That provided temporary relief to millions of borrowers. But those payments have now resumed, and many borrowers are defaulting. The Department of Education, working in tandem with the Treasury, is now poised to begin garnishing wages from those who fail to get back on track. The IRS is also turning up the heat. After receiving billions in new funding, the tax agency has ramped up its enforcement actions, especially against individuals with back taxes. And guess what one of their favorite tools is for collection? That's right, garnishment. Child support enforcement agencies, meanwhile, are coordinating more closely with the Treasury to collect unpaid obligations. In some states, garnishments have doubled over the past year. And now, even retirees who thought they were safe may see their Social Security checks reduced due to outstanding federal debts. All of this adds up to one undeniable fact: garnishments are no longer rare. They are becoming routine, and the Treasury is trying to alert the public before the wave crests. Let's be very clear, this isn't just a low-income issue. The Treasury's data shows that garnishments can and do affect people across all income brackets. That said, some groups are particularly vulnerable right now. Student loan borrowers are at the top of the list. Millions of Americans are now out of the COVID-era forbearance period, and with rising interest rates, many simply can't afford the new monthly minimums. Those who default risk having up to 15% of their wages garnished without ever setting foot in a courtroom. Taxpayers who owe back taxes to the IRS are also in the crosshairs. Through the Treasury Offset Program, the IRS can intercept tax refunds or even garnish wages to collect what's owed. And it doesn't matter whether the debt was intentional or a result of tax filing errors, the system is unforgiving. Parents behind on child support payments are feeling the pinch, too. Family courts and state child support enforcement programs are issuing more garnishment orders as they crack down on arrears. In many cases, these payments come out of your paycheck before you ever see it. Perhaps most troubling is the garnishment of Social Security benefits. While many believe these payments are protected, they're not completely safe. Under federal law, up to 15% of your Social Security can be garnished if you owe federal debts, including student loans, taxes, or overpaid benefits. One of the most powerful tools in the Treasury's arsenal is the Offset Program. You've probably never heard of it, but it affects millions each year. Essentially, it allows the government to intercept federal payments to individuals who owe debts to federal or state agencies. Let's say you're expecting a $2,500 tax refund. If you owe $1,200 in student loan debt, the Treasury can apply your refund to that balance before it ever reaches you. The same applies to military retirement, federal salaries, and yes, even Social Security payments. The scary part? This can happen without a court hearing. Federal agencies simply notify the Treasury that you're delinquent, and the garnishment begins. No negotiation, no appeal, just action. Imagine opening your paycheck and realizing it's $200 short. There's no note, no explanation, just a smaller deposit. For millions of Americans, that's not a hypothetical, it's their reality. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, that $200 could be the difference between having food on the table or not. For parents supporting families, for seniors on fixed incomes, or for single individuals trying to keep up with skyrocketing costs of living, a sudden garnishment can send their entire budget into chaos. Rent gets missed. Utility bills fall behind. Late fees pile up. The garnishment doesn't just solve an old debt, it creates new ones. And this isn't just about money. The emotional toll is real. People feel violated, hopeless, and overwhelmed. Financial stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety and depression in the US, and garnishments only fuel that fire. Now that we've painted the picture, let's talk solutions. If you're worried that you may be at risk of income garnishment, the time to act is right now. Start by checking your debt status. Visit the National Student Loan Data System to view your federal student loans. Check your IRS account online to see if you owe back taxes. If you've ever missed child support, call your local agency. Knowing what you owe and to whom is the first step to stopping garnishment before it starts. If you can't pay what you owe, don't ignore the problem. Many federal programs offer hardship deferments, income-based repayment plans, or even temporary forbearance. But you have to apply. These tools can stop garnishments before they begin. If you're already facing garnishment, seek help immediately. In some cases, you can file a claim of exemption, especially if the garnishment leaves you below the poverty line. Legal aid organizations, nonprofit debt counseling centers, and even your employer's HR department can guide you through the appeal process. Remember, garnishments are legal, but they're not always fair. If you feel you've been targeted in error, you do have rights. But those rights mean little if you don't act quickly. It's important to note that not all income can be garnished. In many states, there are protections in place for certain types of income. Veterans benefits, unemployment compensation, public assistance like SNAP, and certain disability benefits may be partially or fully exempt from garnishment. Additionally, under federal law, there are limits to how much can be taken from your paycheck. For example, most federal garnishments can't exceed 25% of your disposable income, or the amount your income exceeds 30 times the federal minimum wage, whichever is less. But again, you must know these rules to use them to your advantage. The Treasury's warning isn't just about what's happening now, it's about what's coming. As technology makes it easier for agencies to share data, garnishments are expected to become even more widespread. And with increased pressure on the federal government to reduce deficits and collect outstanding debts, Enforcement actions are only going to become more aggressive. We may also see legislation in the future that allows private debt collectors more access to garnishment powers. That could open the floodgates even further, especially for those with federally backed loans managed by third-party agencies. Income garnishment is one of the most disruptive financial events a person can experience, and the Treasury is warning that it's about to become much more common. Don't wait until you open your paycheck and find it smaller. Don't wait until your Social Security deposit is suddenly reduced. Prepare now. Check your debts. Understand your options. Seek help if needed. Because the garnishment process moves quickly, and once it starts, reversing it is extremely difficult. Thank you for watching. If this video gave you valuable insight, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Make sure you're subscribed for more real financial news, not sugar-coated headlines. Until next time, stay alert, stay informed, and take care of yourselves and each other.